the recording. Good morning, children.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
So today we will start the chapter inverse trigonometric functions, and we have done the chapter of relation and functions, and there we learned about the inverse of a function that you all know, isn't it? So I'm going to present the screen now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you all see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, before I start with this PPT, what is the name of the chapter you see on the board, green board? Speak the name of the chapter.
Inverse
Inverse
trigonometric
trigonometric function.
Okay. Now let me give you some reference of the inverse part. We just now did the inverse of a function in the chapter relation and function. There we learned that if f is a function from, say, x to y, and it is 1 1 and on 2, that is it is a bijective function. It is a bijective function, which implies f is invertible. We all know from that topic that only those functions which are 1 1 and on 2 are invertible, that is, their inverse exists. So, but what is the meaning of the inverse? That also you know, that if there exists another function, we represent the inverse by this symbol, where the domain and range are reversed from y to x, such that f inverse OF x gives you x. Whatever f does with the x, f inverse bring it back to x. I hope you have understood this in the previous chapter.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And here, if f inverse is the inverse of f, then f is also the inverse of f inverse. That means f inverse is f. Both are inverse of each other. So what are the conditions required for a function to be invertible? It has to be a bijective function. Now, understanding and learning this, when we move on to the trigonometric functions, we find that the trigonometric functions are not 1 1. They are periodic functions. Their values start repeating after a certain period of angles. Isn't that you all know from class 11? That the values of sine, like sine 30 is half,
Yes,
then
sir.
sine 150 degrees is also half. So in the beginning only we come to know that trigonometric functions are not 1 1. So they are not bijective. Even if one property is not fulfilled, the trigonometric functions are not bijective functions. So how we are talking about their inverse? Are you getting my point? Can you all respond that there is a
Yes,
problem here? The
Yes, sir.
trigonometric functions are not 1 1. Their values repeat after a certain interval of time or a certain interval of angle. So how come we are talking about the inverse of trigonometric functions? So something must have been done to make these trigonometric functions bijective, and then only we are talking about inverse of the trigonometric functions. Do you all agree?
Yes, sir.
You all agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So before I go on to the PPT, let me give you something more about it. If we say sine 30 degree is half. So sine is a trigonometric function. Sine is a trigonometric function. It is provided with an angle and it converts into a value which is a real number, that you all know. Now, if you have to talk about the inverse of this function, then we will say like this. We'll just say sine of 30 degrees is half. What will be its inverse? Sine inverse half. Now, what is the meaning of this symbol? Sine inverse half totally means what is that angle whose sine is half. So we are going in this direction. If sine 30
Yes,
takes
sir.
you to half, trigonometric function is converting sine 30-degree value to half. So what inverse is talking about? What we are asking, what does this symbol mean? Sine inverse half means what is that angle whose sine is half? So now here, if we do not check the domain of the function, then we have infinite answers. We can write 30-degree, 150-degree, and so on, and the list is endless. So this is not the condition for a function to have the inverse. It must have a distinct and a unique value. It must be 1 and onto. So something has been done. So actually, if we talk about in general, the sine functions domain is all real numbers too, and its value, its range is -1 to 1. That also you know? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But now this is the domain of trigonometric function. Before talking about the inverse of trigonometric functions, we have to first of all make the trigonometric functions bijective by restricting the domain in such a fashion so that in that particular small range, the trigonometric function becomes bijective, so that we can talk about its inverse. So what is done, that from here I take you to the PPT. All of you see the PPT first. Now, is it more clearly visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, see the topic, inverse trigonometric function. Sine theta. Sine theta has its domain as R, and the range is -1 to 1, is not 1, function, because the value of sine 0, sine pi, sine 2 pi, and sine n pi, whenever the angle is an integer multiple of pi, the value of sine is 0. Whereas 0, pi, 2 pi are all different angles. That means for infinite angles, the value is same. So function sine theta from R to -1 to 1 is not 1, but onto. It is onto now. It is onto. It is onto, because all the values are covered between -1 to 1. It's the codomain, that is range also. But because we want to talk about inverse of a function, so it must be 1 as well as onto. It must be 1 as well as onto. And since it is not 1, so we cannot talk about inverse. And you can see the graph very nicely made before you, which you learned in class 11 also. Yes, you can see the values are
Yes, sir.
repeating. Now, what is the
Yes,
meaning
sir.
what is the meaning of this red line? A red line has been drawn parallel to x-axis. This means for different values of the angles x, the values of sine is same. Like I gave you the example of, they are giving the example, sine 0 is 0, sine pi is also 0, sine 2 pi is also 0. I gave you the example of sine 30 is half, sine 150 is half. So that is what they're talking about. Since line parallel to x-axis cuts to curve at more than 1 point, does it fail to line test? This is called as line test. Therefore, it is not 1. So now to make it 1, we have to restrict the interval of this R from R to a small interval as, watch here. If we restrict the trigonometric function sine from -pi/2 to pi/2, I'll show this graph again, and then keep the range same. Then we find, then you see again, I'll enlarge it. Now see the graph at the bottom. This is the portion of the graph. If you see the upper graph, if you pick up from there the graph of from -pi/2 to pi/2, can you see that? Can you see the -pi/2 to pi/2 in the first graph?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Part
sir.
has
Yes, sir.
part has been cut and shown in the at the bottom. In that, if you take the portion of the sine graph between -pi/2 to pi/2, and then you draw a line parallel to x-axis, you can see that it is only cutting the graph only at 1 point. Yes, whichever
Yes,
line
sir.
you can draw in front.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
that means for each x there is a distinct value. It becomes 1.
Yes, sir.
So When we have now, it was already on 2. Now we have restricted to the range of minus pi to pi by 2. It becomes 1 1 also. So we can talk about the inverse of sine in this range. Take. So now see. Now can you see the second slide? Sine theta from the R we have changed to closed interval minus pi to pi by 2. And the range is minus 1 to 1. In this, sine theta is bijective or not? Come on, all of you respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sine minus pi by 2 will be minus 1, sine pi by 2 will be 1, sine 0 will be 0. In this way, all the other values will come. So we'll get a distinct value for each angle. So it becomes bijective. So now we can talk about its inverse. So what is the symbol for inverse? See, if I say y equal to sine x, so x will be sine inverse y. So x was the angle, and that clearly shows that sine inverse y. Now understand one thing, f inverse is not equal to 1 upon f. It is a symbol to express the inverse of a function. Similarly, sine inverse is not equal to 1 upon sine. Got it? It is a symbol to express the inverse of the trigonometric function sine. So if y equal to sine x, so here sine x is a trigonometric function. So if we take its inverse, we'll say x. Don't forget, this is a value. This is the angle. So angle x can be expressed as sine inverse y, and it is not 1 upon sine y. So now if we talk about, if we have restricted it, we can talk about its inverse by defining it like this. See what is the name given in the PPT. It is invertible. Its inverse function is denoted by sine inverse y, or what is another name which is not mentioned in the book? It is written like arc sine for the knowledge. Arc sine y means it is this another name for sine inverse y, arc sine y, though it is not a very popular one. In the older level maths, it was used very often. Now it is defined as, we'll do what? Sine function is given here. You can keep watching the PPT also. From there I'm writing. This part is the restricted domain of sine. So when we talk about its inverse, we will write sine inverse, colon. And range will become the domain, minus 1 to 1. And your range will become minus pi by 2 pi by 2, because now we have made it bijective. Got it? Yes?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
see what they are writing. Now remember one thing. Inverse trigonometric function just represent the angle, and a distinct angle, only one angle. So if we say sine inverse x is an angle theta, so if you have to take the sine inverse to the other side, I'll be coming to this topic again. This implies sine theta equal to x. We can take like this. If sine inverse 1 is pi by 2, so sine pi by 2 is 1. Got it? And its curve will be
Yes, sir.
as following.
Yes,
When
sir.
we draw, see, now you have to also focus on the graph. When we draw the graph of trigonometric function, watch here. When we draw the trigonometric function graph, we show the angles on the x-axis and the values of sine are between minus 1 to 1. That is shown on the y-axis. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When we show the graph of sine inverse x, it will everything will get reversed. The value will come on the x-axis and the angle will come on the y-axis like this. So can you watch which portion they have picked up? They are the mirror image of each other. See the second diagram here. If you see the sine x graph, can you see the S-shaped graph? They have written y equal to sine x. Y equal to
Yes,
sine
sir.
x.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
An angle in radians is also a real number. So they have shown all the you might be thinking it is angle, but for the sine x, the x-axis values are showing the angles and the values on the y-axis are showing the its value. Got it? And when you draw the graph of sine inverse x, it gets reversed. You can see the first diagram. Now the values of sine inverse x, what you will put as x, it will be a value between minus 1 and 1, including minus 1 and 1. And the inverse trigonometric function convert this value into angle. So that angle is restricted in the range of minus pi to pi by 2. The graph becomes a mirror image of the graph of sine x in that portion. Can you see the graph? Can you also draw? Keep writing the copy and draw. Keep making the diagram also. The graph of sine inverse x, which is also called as arc sine x, is like this as the diagram number 1. Quickly draw in your copy. See that on the x-axis, it's the values, the domain. And on the y-axis, it is the range, minus pi to pi by 2. I'll give you another demonstration. What do they mean by this? See. Is everything visible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes,
see, if I write sine inverse minus 1. So what is the angle corresponding to it? It is minus pi by 2. Take. If I write sine inverse 0, so it is 0. If it is sine inverse 1, sine inverse 1. Remember, inverse function will be given the value and this function will convert into an angle because inverse trigonometric function represent the angle. So sine inverse 1 means what is that angle? What is that angle whose sine is 1 in the restricted range of minus pi to pi by 2? You will say pi by 2. How many of you are understanding it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now you must know that when we write like this, the domain and range of the sine inverse, this is the domain. This is the domain of the sine inverse function, and this is the range, which is also called as principal value. See the spelling of principal value branch. Because why we are saying principal value branch? What is the need of telling it? If we see why we have considered minus pi to pi by 2, I'll make it still simpler. Because we have to take care of the negative angle as well as positive angles. If we show this thing in a quadrant system, watch. So 0, if you see this range, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, which is called as principal value for the sine inverse x. So here, 0 to pi by 2 will go from here to here. First quadrant, all positive angles.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
And when we talk about sine inverse, say minus half, so where you will show it is minus, so that will be covered here, 0 to minus pi by 2, so that the full range is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So here, why it is the suitable range chosen by the mathematicians? In the first quadrant, we'll get the positive angle. In the fourth quadrant, sine is negative, so we'll be getting all the negative angles from here, covering all the angles. Okay. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is now if you see the graph of sine function, you may ask here, you should ask a question rather. So why we have chosen this range? Then you can see that the sine is minus pi to pi by 2. If you go ahead from pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, see the first graph, pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. In this, we have one portion of pi by 2 to pi, that is the second quadrant where sine is positive, and pi to pi 3 pi by 2, it is negative third quadrant. So you may ask why we have not chosen this as a branch. So these are called as secondary branches. There are infinite branches possible for sine to get bijective. We have chosen the simplest of all. So that if you take the magnitude modulus of those angles, that comes as the least and the most comfortable one. So mathematician chose a range for sine x as minus pi to pi by 2, which is called as principal value branch. Though there are many other ranges possible, but they say no, we'll now express all the angles for the sine inverse part in the range of minus pi to pi by 2, though there are other ranges possible. So they named it as principal value branch. How many of you got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Got
sir.
it?
Yes, sir.
So now let's target one by one in the time span. Let's learn that with the reason the principal value branch for each inverse trigonometric function. For the sine it is covered. For the sine it is understood.
Yes, sir.
Its domain. What is the domain of sine inverse x? It is closed interval minus 1 to 1. And what is the range, or it is also called as principal value branch, PVB, as minus pi to pi by 2. Now in this chapter throughout, for sine inverse any value between minus 1 to 1, you have to express the angle only in the range of closed interval minus pi to pi by 2. If it is coming outside that, then we'll learn the process in the later part of the chapter, how to bring that value in this range only. So I think sine inverse x part is covered.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now,
Yes.
now what they are saying, now they are talking about cos inverse. So for cos also, if similarly, just like sine, cos is also not 1, 1. Cos 0 is 1, cos 2 pi is 1, cos 4 pi is 1. For the various infinite angles, the value cos is coming same. So it is not 1, 1, though it is also on 2, because all the values are falling in -1 to 1, but it is not 1, 1. So even if one property is not fulfilled, it is a many-one function. Cos is not a bijective function. So we cannot talk about its inverse unless we do something for it. Here also, if we draw a line parallel to x-axis, we find that different values of x are cut in the graph. So there are different values of x, the value is same. Value is same, so it is not bijective. So how it has been made bijective? So we have picked up. I'll just enlarge it so that you can see it clearly. See that what kind of principal value branch they are trying to plan for cos. All of you watch carefully. We have to also ensure that all positive and negative angles are covered. So if we had taken just like sine minus pi to pi by 2 in the first as well as the fourth quadrant, cos is positive.
Yes.
Yes, from the class 11 trigonometry, we know that cos is positive in first as well as fourth quadrant. So that range was not useful for cos. We have to choose the smallest possible range where all the positive and negative angles are covered. So the mathematician chose 0 to pi. 0 to pi. They chose for cos instead of taking minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. They discarded this and they rather chose 0 to pi for cos. Got it? So that all the cos angles which are having the positive value that will be covered here, and the second quadrant we know cos is negative, here it will be negative. So for cos actual, if you study this from the beginning, the domain of cos is R and its range is just like sine. So in this it is not 1, 1, so it was restricted to the domain of 0 to pi closed interval. See here. Just like what was in the case of sine, it was restricted to minus pi to pi by 2. Cos is restricted to 0 to pi, so that in the first and second quadrant, in the first the positive values are covered, and in the second the negative values. Got it? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And now
Yes, sir.
this becomes a bijective function. So now we can talk about its inverse. So it was defined as cos inverse, and the domain here the range becomes the domain, it becomes -1 to 1. But what are the angles which will going to come? That will come in the range of 0 to pi, which is called as PVB of principal value branch of cos inverse. We have to express throughout the chapter for the angle. I told you that inverse trigonometric function represents the angle. The cos inverse will convert these values into an angle, but that angle has to be restricted between closed interval 0 to pi. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
1, 1. See, 0 to pi. Can you see the graph of restricted graph of cos theta? In this, if we draw a line parallel to x-axis, we see that at only one point the line is cutting. In this way, we can draw infinite lines. We will see only at one place it is being cut. It is cutting the graph. So that proves it is 1, 1. So what is the domain? What is the domain of cos theta now in this chapter? 0 to pi closed interval, and range is -1 to 1. And if we talk about its inverse, because we have made it bijective. So how it is written? Cos inverse x. And I'm again telling you cos inverse x is not equal to 1 upon cos x. It is not a symbol for reciprocal. It is just like the symbol of f inverse which you learned in chapter number 1. It is cos inverse x, inverse of cos, or it is also called as arc cos x. And what is the domain given? -1 to 1. And what is the range or principal value branch? 0 to pi, closed interval 0 to pi. Got it? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And the graph of cos x from 0 to pi is the red line, and graph of cos inverse x is a black line. You can see it is a mirror image of this one. If we draw a line which acts as an axis, it is a mirror image. And then the second graph is the actual graph of cos inverse x. See, they are showing now. When we draw the graph of cos, the angles are shown on the x-axis and values on y-axis. And in the cos inverse x, the values are shown between -1 to 1, and the angles are shown on the y-axis from 0 to pi. The pi is 3.14 approximately, so they're writing as the angle in radians. Got it? 0.5 radian, 3.14 is actually pi. So cos inverse x values are ranging, angles are ranging from 0 to, can you see that? 0 to pi. 1 pi 0 and at pi it is -1. Got it? The whole thing is covered under
Yes, sir.
-1 to 1. Okay?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Cos is also covered.
Yes, sir.
Now, similarly, now let's increase our speed. Similarly, we can define other inverse trigonometric function as below. Tan x earlier was tan all real numbers except for odd multiple of pi by 2. We all know that tan function is undefined at odd multiple of pi by 2. Pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2 at these angles. So tan is undefined, but its range is all real numbers. So here they chose the range, what was the range for the sine, but since tan is not defined for pi by 2 or minus pi by 2, so in the tan inverse x, we have gone for open interval. Can you see that? Can you see that in the sine, we had gone for closed interval minus pi by 2, pi by 2. For the tan, we have chosen tan inverse x, or our tan x domain is real number, but we reverse it. But what is the principal value branch? Open interval. Open interval minus pi by 2, pi by 2. What was done with the tan? Its domain is r minus 2n plus 1 into pi by 2. This was the actual story. So what we did, we restricted this and then defined tan inverse x as this becomes the domain and range is not this. We restricted it to open interval minus pi by 2, pi by 2. Why open interval? Because tan is not defined for pi by 2 and minus pi by 2, so we exclude them. Graphically, we can show like this. We'll leave this part minus pi by 2. We'll leave this pi by 2 also, and then all the angles in between this. Got it? This is the principal value branch of tan inverse x. Got it?
Yes, sir.
If I ask you
Yes,
what is
Yes,
tan
sir.
inverse 1, so you are being asked what is that angle whose tan is 1. Tan inverse 1 is whole as a one quantity, so it is equal to pi by 4. Got it? But if I write tan inverse minus 1, it is here. It is minus pi by 4. How this is decided, we'll let you know in the second lecture of this one. Got it? So we have come to know the principal value branch of tan inverse x also, that is open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Got it? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If we now
Yes, sir.
go ahead, for cot, we have chosen the principal value branch of cos to make it simple. We all know that which was the better choice. If we had gone for minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, so in between we have cot 0 is undefined, isn't it? Cot 0 is undefined. So there was a break in between. So they chose a better one. They thought if we choose a cos one, 0 to pi, cot 0 is undefined, cot pi is undefined, but in between there is a continuous graph. Values exist because if tan pi by 2 is undefined, cot pi by 2 is 0. So here also the
Yes.
cot is defined.
Yes,
So
sir.
they chose instead of taking this one as a middle one not defined, they chose that end points can be undefined. So for the cot inverse, what they did, cot inverse x. The domain was real number, but its principal value branch was open interval 0 to pi. Got it? Open interval 0 to
Yes,
pi.
sir.
Because cot 0 is undefined, cot pi is undefined, so they left out and they chose a principal value branch of cos. Got it? Got it? So we have learned
Yes,
for
sir.
4, we have
Yes,
learned
sir.
for 4, which two are left? Sec inverse x and cosec inverse x. So we go for sec x first. We go for sec x first. Now we know that sec x is undefined where cos is 0. Cos is 0 at odd multiple of 90. So its domain is all your numbers except for odd multiple of 90. This was a trigonometric function, and the value which comes, we all know that the value of cos comes between -1 to 1. So its reciprocal value, sec x value, cannot be in between. It will be somewhere here, minus infinity to -1, union 1 to infinity will be the range of sec x, because the reciprocal value cannot lie. This is the range of cos. Its reciprocal cannot lie in this range. It may have the -1 and 1, but not any value in between. How many of you understand this part? So what was the actual domain of sec x which we learned in class 11? It is this one. That the range I'm talking about, the value of the sec x comes between -infinity to -1, union 1 to infinity. So when we talk about the inverse, the range becomes the domain. So there is no change there. This is picked up -infinity to -1, union 1 to infinity. And what is the principal branch? Now they again chose very close to the cos one. What was the cos? What was the cos principal branch? 0 to pi. 0 to pi. Cos inverse.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
here they had no choice. They had no choice because cos is defined at 0 and pi. So sec is also, because it is its reciprocal. Cos 0 is 1, so sec 0 is 1. Cos pi is -1, so sec pi is also -1. So here they were forced to take that one where there was a break in the middle. They had no other choice. So they took the same range principal branch as that of cos, and they removed that angle where the sec was undefined. Can you understand it?
Yes, sir.
This is the
Yes,
principal value branch of sec inverse x. Got it? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And you can see the graph.
sir.
I'll send you this PPT. You can also keep it and keep on studying. Apne paas, you store it, and then keep on reading it again and again. For the graphically, it gives you a better idea. You can see that in the graph of sec inverse x, there is a dotted line where it is not defined for pi by 2. Okay. So lastly, can you guess, before I show you the cosec, they chose the range of sine inverse x, but which angle they must have removed? Okay, now one line test. If we talk about cosec inverse x, and for that I'll give you the hint. Sine inverse x domain was -1 to 1. Its range was closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So if you talk about cosec inverse x, so its value will be same as that of sec inverse x, -infinity to -1, union 1 to infinity. But what will be the principal branch? When we'll go for this, we know that sine 0 is 0, the cosec is undefined here. So we chose this one only, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and we discarded this one. Okay, just like sec, here we'll go for close interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and from this in the middle we'll remove the angle 0 because cosec 0 is undefined. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So see,
Yes, sir.
now I'll show you this one. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So note down. Now I'll show you a table. I'll show you a table. Now you make a table like this. Is the last part of the class today. For today, inverse function, domain, and range, which is also called as principal branch. Quickly make this table, and you can discard the term arc sin x, arc cos. Just write sin inverse x, cos inverse x. The second column is the domain, and we are more interested in knowing the third column, in which we have to express the angle throughout the chapter. Inverse trigonometric function converts the value into an angle. As trigonometric function converts angle into value, so its inverse will change the value to the angle. Do not forget this. Inverse trigonometric function only represent the angle. Quickly make this table, and today's homework will be that you have to learn these principal value branch for each inverse trigonometric function, and their graphs you have to make. Okay. Yes. That is the home
Yes,
assignment
sir.
for today. You have,
Yes, sir.
you have to learn this table and write down many times, home assignment, and you have to also draw. I'll send you this PPT on your class group. Learn. What is the meaning of PVB? What is the full form PVB?
Principal value branch.
Principal value branch.
And draw their graph. This is the homework for today. Yes, how many of you understood? Let's have a recapitulation. What we learned, we first talk about the inverse of a function from the chapter number 1, and then we found tan inverse trigonometric functions are not 1, so that means they're not 1, they're not bijective. So how we're talking about inverse of a function? So we restricted the domain of the trigonometric function and made them as bijective, and then we talked about their inverse, and we found the ranges which we call as principal value branch. This is the first learning which you have to understand, and you have to also understand their graph. Okay. Yes, children.
Yes, sir.
Any
Yes,
question
sir.
now?
Yes, sir.
Any question you want to ask? Any question you want to ask? Please put on your cameras. Yes. Whatever was taught, it was understood.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
when I'm going to take
Yes,
you to the
sir.
questions tomorrow, then I should not find you wanting that what was the range. Don't see the list. Memorize today. Okay, with this, thank you all. I end the class today. You may leave.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.